Hey guys, Cloudbrain here, back at it again with another modding tutorial. Sorry that it's been so long since the last one. It's been a pretty busy couple of weeks, so I appreciate you guys hanging in there. And today we are going to be going over creative tabs so that we can actually see the item that we created in the last video. And I'm gonna try and be a little bit more consistent with the videos. It was kind of more of a fluke that this big gap happened, so the goal is to at least get one video out a week. I'll try and maybe, we'll see if I can maybe make it up this weekend. Let's jump right into it. So, like the items that we created, the first step in creating a new creative tab is to create the registry for it and then add it to that registry. So to do this, we're going to go over to Cool Stuff mod. We're going to create a new package, and we are going to just call this UI. And we're just gonna keep our creative tab stuff in here. We may put some more stuff in here later, which is why I named it UI and not creative tabs. But inside of here, what we're gonna wanna do is create a new class, and we'll call this mod tabs. We'll just call it that. Okay, so to create our register, what we're gonna do is type public static final deferred register. We're gonna open up our angle brackets, and in here we're gonna add creative mode tab. Now there are two. There are creative mode tabs with an S at the end, and then creative mode tab with no S at the end. You're gonna want the one with no S. The one with the S at the end gives you a list of the existing creative tabs, or at least the vanilla ones. And so what we're gonna type in here is creative tabs. So that's going to be the name of our register here. And then we're going to set it equal to a deferred register dot create registries. Whoops, registries dot creative mode tab. And then we are going to add our mod ID. And so I'll type in mod ID there, and then we can import the static constant, and that will actually bring it in from the main mod file here. So we'll add our semicolon, don't want to forget that. And that is our register, and now we're going to add a new creative tab to that. So to do that, we're going to type public static final deferred holder, and in here we're going to type creative mode tab, add a comma, and then creative mode tab again. And then we're going to have to create a name for it. So we will call this cool underscore stuff. And we'll say that this is equal to creative tabs dot register. And here is where we're going to put a bunch of stuff, all right? So the first thing that we're going to need is the name. So we'll just call it cool stuff. And then we are going to create a creative mode tab builder. And to do that, we're going to add parentheses, create a little arrow here, and say creative mode tab dot builder. And we are going to hit enter here to get some space. And we'll say dot title component dot translatable. And in here, we're going to add the creative tab ID, which is going to be used in the language file so that we can give it like a real name. And so we're just going to type item group dot cool stuff mod. So we're going to go to the end of the title. We're going to hit enter again to get some more space and say dot with tabs before. And this is so that we can figure out where to place this creative tab. So we'll just say that we're going to place it in creative mode tabs dot combat. So now this is going to appear after the combat tab. All right. And don't worry about all these red lines. They will go away once we're done. So now we're going to come to after this, hit enter again to get some more space, and hit dot and icon. And this is going to be the icon that shows up for the creative mode tab. And in here, we're going to add another set of parentheses. Going to create an arrow, and we're going to say mod items dot orange dot get to get the item version of this dot get default instance. So this will make our orange item the icon. So again, we'll come to the end, hit enter, and add another dot. And this is the last parameter that we're going to be adding, and it's going to be display items. And inside of here, we're going to want to add a set of parentheses. Inside of these parentheses, we're going to type parameters and output, and then come over to the right of that, create an arrow, and create a set of curly braces, and hit enter. So before we fill this, I'm going to come down here, we're going to add the semicolon, and inside of here, between these two parentheses, we're going to do dot build, and that will build it. So the last thing that we're going to do is inside of this display items, we are going to add our item so that our item is displayed inside of this creative tab. To do this, we're going to want to type output dot accept mod items dot orange dot get. And just like that, our orange should now show up inside of our creative tab. So we're all done with this, so we can close out of it. And we are now in our main mod file. And just like we did with the items registry, we are going to want to type mod tabs dot creative tabs dot register and mod event bus. All right. So now we have it registered. We have our creative tab added. We've added our items to that creative tab. And now we've got the registry registered. And the last thing that we're going to want to do is give it a name. So let's go into this language file and we'll add a little bit of space here. Add some parentheses and type in what we typed in right here. This item group cool stuff mod. We're going to use that. So you don't have to copy it and paste it. I just did to show that off. And then we are going to add another set of parentheses and actually name it. So we'll just say cool stuff. And that is all set, so we can close out of everything. And I'm going to launch Minecraft in debug mode, and I will see you in there. Real quick side tangent before we actually jump into the game. I did make a mistake. I added a space to this ID, and this cannot have any spaces. It has to be just one solid word. I'm not sure if you can even add symbols or numbers. I would just stick to all lowercase letters and no spaces. So just like this format. Now that I've explained that, let's jump into the game. Okay, we are in the game now, and if we were to open our inventory, you can now see that there are arrows up here, and 1 out of 2. And if we were to scroll over, we can see that we now have our tab, cool stuff, and you can see our oranges on there, and we can get as many oranges as we want out of there. So it looks like our creative tab was successful. Everything is working. And I'll just jump back real quick to show you how to create a second one, just in case you want to create multiple tabs. It's not that much more difficult. So let's jump back real quick. So we're back in here, and say you wanted to have multiple tabs, right? So all you're going to want to do is you can even just copy this, paste it in. You're going to want to create a new name for this. So let's say that this is going to be cool stuff items, and this is going to be cool stuff blocks, if you wanted to separate those two things out. So I will just real quick do that. And we will keep the rest of this stuff the same. And we can come over to here and say, change this to block group.coolstuff mod. And say we wanted this to come after the items tab. What we could do is say cool stuff items. So the name of this tab here, dot get key. And now it should come after the items tab. Now, since I only have one item, we will just have to keep the items the same for the icon and what's inside of it. But you can also just, delete these and replace it with whatever you want to put in there. And then we're just going to want to come up here and add a new entry called block group dot cool stuff mod, and we'll name this cool blocks, and we'll replace this with cool items. And let's see how that looks in the game. Okay, so we're back in the game, and if we were to open our creative tab and scroll over, you can see that we now have two of them, and the first one is cool items, and the second one is cool blocks. Of course, we do still have just the same items in both of them. But if you have more, then, you will be able to see them in the specific tabs. You will notice that it does say that this comes from both cool items and cool blocks in the tag there on the item. So do keep in mind that if you were to, say, put them in multiple tabs, or even like put a vanilla item in your tabs or something like that, it's going to say all of the creative tabs that it comes from. So that is all it takes to add new creative tabs. Like I said, it was a pretty simple one, pretty quick one. So go ahead and try it out, add all of your cool stuff in there, and let me know if you have any issues, and I'll try and help you in the comments. So if this video was a help, make sure to like and subscribe, as well as turn the notifications on so you'll be notified whenever I come out with a new video, hopefully a little bit more consistently than this last one. I really appreciate all the support and hope this helps with, making cool stuff and helping you guys out. If you'd like to further support the channel, I do have a link to my Ko-fi page, which is just an area where you can donate, and I just use that money to take time off of work so that I can spend more time on making videos like this. But any kind of support, from just watching to interacting with the video to donating, all of it is appreciated, and hopefully these are helpful for you guys. Well, that's all I got for today. The next video, we're probably going to be going over how to create blocks, so stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.